Got to break it down.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for like the last decade, but these new local advocates say that these clean car standards would be good for our state, our economy, and the health of Arizona families. So they're encouraging the EPA to finalize the rules by the end of the month and stick to strong standards originally proposed to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2030 and have net zero emissions by 2050. Those preliminary standards announced last spring show the EPA tightening emission standards starting in 2027. The agency and automakers expect this will be a big boost to pivot to electric vehicles. Car companies and the United Auto Workers Union fighting this, saying the new standards are too strict, too soon, saying EV technology isn't where we need it to be just yet. The new word is that the administration is considering weakening standards or delaying the local deadlines. Advocates say that would be the wrong call. Encouraging more people to shift to EVs is good for Arizona, and the EPA needs to stick to the plan.
That transitioning to clean cars isn't just an environmental imperative, it's an economic opportunity that will benefit all Arizonans.
These stronger federal standards will significantly reduce air pollution, reducing the fine particles in the air that wreak havoc on our health.
LG is building a multi-billion-dollar battery plant in Queen Creek, and American Battery Factory is bringing in a new plant and headquarters down to Tucson. So while the new EPA rules wouldn't require companies to make electric vehicles altogether, their emissions ratings come from averaging pollutants for all of their car models. So zero emissions, or EVs, would clearly be the easiest way to make those new standards. Count on us to keep you posted on what the EPA decides.